Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. Our focus this morning has been on the Sherman Phoenix. It's a project that was transformed from the fire-damaged BMO Harris Bank building in the Sherman Park neighborhood. It houses just about 30 small businesses that offer everything from prepared foods, wellness services, and arts, as well as cultural activities. My next guest is Joanna Brooks. She's the owner of Embody Yoga, and she's also the director of tenant engagement at the Sherman Phoenix. Hi, Joanna.
Hello.
How are you?
Really good.
Thank you for
having
being
me.
here.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, tell us more about Embody Yoga and some of the services that you offer.
Sure. So I started Embody Yoga about 3.5 years ago. I had fallen in love with yoga as a middle schooler, as a preteen. And so as I would travel around the country, I noticed that oftentimes I would only be the only person of color in the room.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, considering the benefits that are associated with yoga, that I needed to change that. And so I became a yoga teacher, and then shortly thereafter I started Embody Yoga with the mission of sharing the practice of yoga with people of color. And so here we are now, about 3.5 years later, and we have grown, we've expanded, we have a home now in the Sherman Phoenix, and we are just overjoyed about that.
Yeah, it gives you chill bumps. That's the whole concept of how the Sherman Phoenix came about. So when you think about everything that the building's been through, what comes to mind?
Hope, possibility,
Yeah.
change. You know, these are all things that I think the community needs, considering all that we've been through and the uprising that happened in the Sherman Park area. So the symbolism, I think, is what catches people. And then the energy and the love that's there. You can walk in the Phoenix before the Phoenix was actually the Phoenix. We were still meeting with community members and things like that to understand what their wants and needs were from that space. And there's always been just a very positive and warm energy in that space. And now that we're open, we're past grand opening, we continue to hear that from our guests, from our clients and customers.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that your business mission is to share the practice of yoga with people of color and other underrepresented groups.
Yes.
So there are certain things when you look at activities of some sort where people of color say, oh, we don't do that, you know,
sure.
whether it be like skiing, I don't know, but even though there are a lot of people of color that ski, but there are those things that sometimes get that whole, we don't do that. Yoga's one of those things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is.
And that's interesting. So let's discuss, because you mentioned the benefits of yoga and meditation, and there are a long list of benefits. So what are some of the main ones that come to mind?
Sure, absolutely. First thing that comes to mind would be the physical benefits. I think a lot of people come to yoga for that reason, right? They want to have more strength, more muscle definition, they want more flexibility. But I think the reason why people are consistent and committed to their practice is for the mental and emotional benefits. So there's actually a lot of research that's been done on yoga and its benefits, and now doctors are prescribing it to their patients in a sense. Yoga has been found to help with symptoms of anxiety and depression, insomnia. It lowers blood pressure and even also blood sugar levels and things like that. So there's lots of research dollars that back this practice of yoga.
Yeah, and I read even that it treats chronic back pain, helps with rheumatoid arthritis. Research shows that adults who have like mild to moderate asthma, if they go through maybe like an 8-week period and taking their prescribed medications, they see a major difference. So when you talk about a situation where I have conversations about ailments that affect people of color specifically, here is, you know, an art form. I guess is it safe to call it an art form?
Yeah, sure. A science. You know, yoga is so much more than what people believe it to be, right? So most people's idea of yoga, they think about someone sitting in a lotus position or a cross-legged position and they're meditating, right? Or they think about like a warrior two pose and things like that. But yoga is actually an entire system, and the physical postures, asana, is just one limb of the practice of yoga.
Wow. well. So there's a lot to learn once you take on this particular science. And you said that also people sleep better. They can reduce their risk of heart disease. It's a mood booster, combats migraines. So if somebody's sitting at home and they deal with all these things, then they can at least give it a try, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they should. And I think a lot of people fear going into the yoga studio because they're not flexible or they don't have strength.
That's the truth.
and I completely understand that, but that's why you come. That's why you engage in the practice, so you can build that strength and flexibility over time.
Yeah, and I think that once you start to see yourself grow within the science of yoga, then it's probably a little addicted. Would you say so?
Absolutely. When you start to see those benefits for yourself, when you can look in the mirror and see it, or when you can reflect on your life and how you engage with people around you and how you interact and move in the world, you absolutely become addicted to it.
I love it. So you've been a registered yoga teacher for how long now?
About 4 years now.
4 years now, and you've served over 400 students, and you opened your business, like you said, about 3 years ago. How did you first get involved with yoga and meditation, especially since we've said that yoga is one of those things that sometimes you hear people say, oh, that's not for me?
Yeah, so it was somewhat of an accident. It started in middle school. So my siblings had to be up and ready for school much earlier than I did, and I'm a light sleeper. They would wake me up, so I just would get up and turn on the TV. And as I was flipping through channels, I came across this lady on Channel 10 at the time. And she had 2 yoga programs that came on back to back, just like 15 minutes each. And so I would get up every morning before school and sit in front of the TV and do yoga with her.
Wow.
And absolutely loved it. I didn't have the words to articulate why at that point, but it was something about it that my body really connected to and that I loved. And so then there was a point where I got into running in high school and then dance in college and after college as well. And then there was a point where I was sedentary and I wasn't moving my body at all. And I didn't like that. I didn't like how I was feeling. So then I thought to try yoga again. And so at the time that I looked, hot yoga was really popular, and it is now also. And so I stepped into a hot yoga studio. The style is Bikram yoga, where they heat the studio to about 105 degrees.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I took that class, and I absolutely hated it. And I didn't go back for 3 months. But then when I went back, something clicked. Like my body understood it, I got it, and I've been practicing consistently ever since.
Wow, I love that. So I did mention as we wrap up that you're the director of tenant engagement at the Sherman Phoenix. So what exactly does that entail?
A little bit of everything. So my job is to make sure that I'm supporting the tenants to the best of my ability. So whatever questions they have or concerns, whether it be about their physical space in the Sherman Phoenix or their business, it's my responsibility to address those concerns and help them find solutions.
Okay.
And that's just something that I found to be really rewarding as well.
I love it. So finally, what do you have going on at Embody Yoga going into the new year that someone at home may be interested in taking part in?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So at the beginning of the new year, we always set these New Year's resolutions, right? To become active and to move our bodies. So at Embody Yoga, we always offer a series of beginners yoga programs. And I think that's the best place for people to start to make sure they have a good experience. So pretty soon we'll be pushing that information out and letting people know how they can sign up for a beginner's yoga program.
Okay, so a website and phone number.
Absolutely. Phone number is 414-810-6150, and our website is www.embodyyogamke.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I'll see you around the Phoenix.
Okay, we'll be looking for you.
Yes. Joanna Brooks, she's the owner of Embody Yoga, and she's the director of tenant engagement at the Sherman Phoenix. For more information, again, you can call 810-6150 or visit their website at embodyyogamke.com. When we return to Our Issues Milwaukee, we'll meet 2 more business owners. That's businesses located in the Sherman Phoenix as well. They'll give you information on how you can get your health and wellness in check for 2019. We'll do that right after this.